welcome back to another Suzuki movie. I've had my little Suzuki for 5 months and now want to see how well it starts whilst being in storage. I've now opened up the air vent on top of the fuel tank. I've got the choke pulled out and all the choke settings are correct on the throttle, and with a few pulls hopefully she'll start. I've got my son here, Matt. Hey Matt, what do you think it's like to try and start this little motor?
It's not too hard, but once you get used to it, it's pretty fun.
It's a good idea to let your outboard idle a little bit when you first start it, to not use it for a while. Over revving this little outboard in neutral, as it's really not a good idea. Once your outboard is warmed up, then try it in forward just to see how the motor is running, and then try it in reverse, but be careful of splashing all the water out. The great thing about this little outboard is that you don't need a marine license, and so my son Matthew used it by himself alone just recently. What did you think, Matt?
When I first got on, I was a little bit scared, but after like a minute or so I got the hang of it and it was pretty fun, just being able to cruise around.
So when you've let the outboard run for a little while, it's time to cut the fuel. You do this on the side by switching over to the external tank. You let it continue to run until eventually it runs dry. It'll then cut out. You'll have to try and start it again, keep on using the throttle, and eventually it'll cut out and you won't be able to start it again, and then it's ready for storage. So just asking Matthew about the weight of the engine and what it's like to pick up. Matt, what do you think it's like picking up this outboard?
It's actually quite surprisingly light. I can lift it up with just by myself quite easily. I'm just trying to get all the fuel out of the carburetor. I'm busy revving up the throttle just to try and get it out, and eventually it cuts out. It's really important that you get all the water out of the shaft, especially if you're going to travel with the outboard in a car. The water mustn't run back into the engine, into a cylinder, as it will damage it. This little outboard to use with my son. We do have a Haynes Hunter. How this is a really quick portable boat to take down to the water. Okay, so Matthew, do you miss our old boat? I do a little bit, I think, for the price of this, but it's actually really good.
You can see I'm quite content with the fact that the outboard started quite easily and there are no major issues with the motor. I'd like to thank you for watching our channel, and we do have a detailed review of the Suzuki on this YouTube channel. You do not need to drain the oil on this little outboard every time you want to transport it, which is really, really good, and it has 3 different ways that you can store it in the back of a car. Outboard's back on the trolley. It's now busy drying. It'll get all the water out, and then it'll have its cover put back onto it and put back into the garage for storage for us to use on the boat soon. Now time to get water out of the bin. I do need to look for another solution to be able to flush the motor that's easier. However, this does work.
boats in a bag, and thanks for watching. There's a link in the description if you want to see the Suzuki review.